Okay, this is a tutorial to show you how to set up the new landing form pages, and here is the form setup, and this is a pop-up form. So when you click on there, fill in the information and send it to me. I've set it up so that people will go directly to a page that describes whatever the product or service it is that I'm offering, and it offers a PayPal subscribe button or a buy now button, whatever sort of button you want to use. And when they click on subscribe now, it takes them away from my website, so my website is still open, and takes them to a PayPal screen where they can log in and pay or subscribe. And now we'll go and see how to set it up. So we log into the dashboard, and the first thing you want to do is check for updates, because if you're coming to do some work and there have been some wonderful updates to Local Theme Jack, you may miss them. And I can tell by looking down this black sidebar that the landing page edition is not here, so it means that I need to update the theme. And there is indeed an update. Click on update now. Okay, and landing pages is now in the black sidebar, ready for us to use. But the next thing I want to do is check on plugins, and if you have plugins that you aren't using, just delete them. And here's a plugin that isn't activated, so I need to activate it. So just take care of these housekeeping things before you get working on other things. And now we'll go and learn how to create those pages. First thing we need to do is go to the black sidebar on the left side, over to landing pages, and then down to forms. Okay, and I have a few created. We're going to make a new form. And at the moment we have 15 pre-made forms that are pretty well completely editable. And when you mouse over a form, a little pop-up box comes up with an eye and a check mark. Clicking on the eye gives you a preview of what the form looks like. I'll select this one, and when you click on the check mark, just scroll down the screen and here's where you edit it. And you want to give the form a name so that you'll know what it relates to. Color, check to see what shows up best. Any area that you click on can be edited. Okay, and you can change, enter your name, your email, save settings, and save. Now I've made a list of things that you really need to do prior to actually setting up the pages. The next thing we need to do is go to ThemeJack Biz, and then you come down this left side vertical menu and go to integration. Besides the Google's API map key and the CAPTCHA, there are autoresponders that can be integrated with these forms. And let's see, we've got Aweber, GetResponse, MailChimp, iContact, Infusionsoft, Constant Contact, and ActiveCampaign. So you're just going to need to follow the instructions that are part of whatever autoresponder that you use to get the appropriate code. So there's generate authorization code for Aweber, and GetResponse and several others have an API key. So just log into your account and get whatever key is necessary. Since I use MailChimp. Now, if you don't have any lists set up yet, you may need to go and create a list. So let's see, create a list. List name, default from email address, default from name, edit whatever information you need to here. Save, and then you'll come over to your name and click on the drop down arrow beside your name, click on account, and click on extras and API keys, and create a key. Okay, and give it a label, AdWords class, and then just copy this key and come back to the dashboard and paste your key into the appropriate autoresponder box and select Save. So that's the second thing that need to be done. Okay, now if you want people to come to another page, something like this, or a thank you page where you give them something to download or directions on something else to do, you need to create that before you start setting up your page with the form. So we'll come to Pages, Add New, Class Sign Up Page, and we'll use Jack Page Builder. Now, depending on what you have on this or what you want people to do with this page, you may or may not want header and menu or footer. What I will do is, let's see, I will add 2 rows. Okay, and here I'm going to put a headline. Now, the font size of the H1 tag is set in your style wizard. And let's go and take a peek. Go here. So H1 font size is set at 34 pixels. Now, if you want larger than that, you can change it here. So say you want 48 and H2 at 36. And bold and italic. Okay. So you want to give it a name, save new style wizard. Now this makes the setting global, so all throughout your site, wherever you might use an H1 tag, the font size is going to be 48. If you've already started something and you go and add to it after you've already started, what you just added won't be there yet. Okay, so let's see. Background color, if you want to set a background color, you can. Text orientation, center. I like bold and italic. The top padding would be to keep the headline from bumping up against whatever's at the top of the screen. All right. Right padding, show on all devices, so you can choose where you want this page to show up, and then save. And just to kind of see how we're making out, because that 48 may be really huge. Okay, that'll work. So now we go back, and here we're going to add our content. This could be your class description or your product description, whatever it is you want to show people. And I will add text depending on what you require. If you need to add HTML code or anything like that, you need to set the box to text to add your information. And text color is black. Text orientation left. Top padding, this is just to keep the information from smacking up to the top of or left or right side. If you want to set a background color, you can. If you need a specific height and width, you can do that. And we'll just save this as is. And then I'll add text. So just go through and change, edit, leave whatever you wish, whatever way you wish it to be. And we'll click Update and Preview Changes. And here's our information about the class. So let's go back to edit the page. So if you want to add a PayPal buy button, there is a video tutorial on how to set up the PayPal buy button. And you will bring your code back to the page. And here I'm going to add column, and I will do and add a module, add text, and you need it to be on the text setting. Now, I took the PayPal button and saved it as an image is in my library. So I got this button, I added the Earn While You Learn, saved it as an image in my library, and then copy this URL and came to my text editor, and here is the PayPal form information, and in here, right here, there was, I think, an image of just a typical PayPal button, and I replaced it with my image URL from my library. And then we take this whole buy button code, go back to edit the page, and we're on text, and just paste the code here in the text box. And text color doesn't matter because it's an image. Text orientation, I want it centered. Doesn't really matter because it's an image. It's going to be centered. Top and bottom padding, this would be to keep the image from bumping up against whatever's above it. We don't need to worry about any of these other bits of information. And we'll save and update and preview changes. And here is the PayPal subscribe button. And there is a video tutorial that shows you how to create the PayPal buy button and then how to integrate it into your site. You can also create a short code with it that you can paste anywhere in the site. So here it is, sending people to buy whatever. And you have to create the price for your product or service where you go and set up your PayPal button. I believe this page is ready now. Okay, now we will go to Add New. Now we're ready to create our landing pages and use Jack Page Builder. And for this page, I don't want any distractions. I want people to focus only on the information that's on the page and nothing else. So I'm removing the header, the menu, and the footer. And now I'll add several rows. You can add more as you need them or delete extras. Okay, and the first thing I'll do is set an image for the background of the whole page. So I want to show on all devices, and instead of a background color, I want a background image, and upload an image or choose from what you already have in your library. Set as background, and you'll see a preview, and I'm setting it as parallax, and parallax is the background image remains stationary and everything else floats on top of it. And you can set a minimum height for the section, and I'm just setting 1800 as an arbitrary number, and I don't want any top or bottom padding or any margins. So click Save. Okay, and now I'm going to add a header or headline. If you've created an image headline, you can add that or use the headline module. And I'm going to use the image that I've created. Upload or go to the library. I'll set that as the image. I'm not going to add any alternative text. I don't want it to open in a lightbox. I don't need it to open in another page. Image orientation, I want centered. Remove space, top padding, bottom padding. So I do want, I do want a space between the top of the headline and the top of the page. Bottom padding, and I'm just picking arbitrary numbers, and I will check to see how it works and publish. And I think I may need to add some color behind the headline because I'm pretty sure it's a PNG, so it may not show up. Okay, actually that'll be fine. And that space is fine too. Okay, so next I'm going to add the video. And you can design this page however you want. This is fairly fast and simple, so I'm just keeping it simple, and you can get as involved as you wish. I'll paste the video URL here. I want the video centered, top padding, I'll add a bit, and I want space between the video and whatever comes next. Yeah, I can use padding or margin, show on all devices, and click Save and Update and Preview Changes. Okay, that's a decent amount of space between the headline and the video. Okay, and that is the parallax effect with the information floating over top of the stationary image. I'm going to add my landing form now. Landing forms. Module name is landing form. User welcome email address needs to be, not needs to be, but it's more likely to be delivered if you use a domain email address instead of my name at yahoo.com or gmail.com. Okay, and the subject. Okay, and you can edit your message. When the message box is set on visual, if you want to make different sentences, if you come to the end of a sentence and you hit enter, the sentence advances 2 spaces. If you come to the end of the sentence and you hold down the shift key and hit enter, the sentence advances 1 space. And you can add your name, if you have an alternate email address or your business name, phone number. If you have other people working with you that you want to have receive the email, you can enter their email address in there and edit any information that you want here. If for some reason the messages are not being delivered, you can choose yes to use the mail server. Now the landing page type, you can have it be so when somebody lands on the page, there's the landing form, they fill it in and they're off. Or you can have it be a pop-up, and I like pop-ups. So let's see, we'll do the one I just entered. So this is the text that they will see on the button. You can leave the default settings here if you wish. You can move this little circle around, or you can use Pixie. Underneath the video, this is the button that creates the pop-up. So hover background width, you want it centered, top padding, bottom padding. The margin is to create space between the button itself and whatever is above. Bottom margin, whatever is below. The border radius, the larger the number, the more rounded the corners. This time I'm going to leave it as 5. Now, when somebody fills in the form, they can either see a message in the top left corner that reads, "Congratulations, you've filled in the form," etc., or you can send them to another page. And we've already created that page. So we come here and AdWords training sign up. I think that's the page we just created. Now here's where we need to have already integrated our autoresponder. So I'll come down and select MailChimp. The system then goes and checks to see what email lists I have set up in my MailChimp account. And if I want a top or bottom margin, and I want this to show on all devices, and we will save and update and preview changes. And let's see how we're making out with our class. Okay, Okay, now let's see what happens when we click on the button. Okay, so enter. You need to test this out and make sure that it works. Okay, and then on successful submission of the form, it now delivers me to the page about the class where I can read more and subscribe. Okay, so it looks like we've got everything set up properly. Now we'll just go and log into Gmail, and here is my congratulations email. So that was also set up correctly. So we have one more thing to do to complete the page. We need to be compliant. So we need our terms of service, privacy policy, etc. And we can add a column, and half is good, and add a module, and add the footer links. Orientation is left, show on all devices, and we're good to go. Okay, and update and preview changes. Okay, so here's our footer links, and the only thing is I don't really want my footer links to be smack up against my landing form. So there are a couple things that we can do. One is you can just come to the landing form and come down here to margin. So I could add, let's say, 300 pixels to the bottom margin, save, update, preview changes. Okay, here's my footer links, and here's 300 pixels of space. The other thing you can do is just add column, doesn't matter which one you add a module, add image. Now we're not actually going to add an image, so I don't need to, that's going to be just blank space. So there's no image URL or any of these other things. We are just going to add padding. So I'll add 300 pixels of space and click save. Then I would want to move this between, so this needs to be between whatever two things I want to make space between. And click update and preview changes. Okay, so now I've got 600 pixels of space between the form and my footer links. And that wraps up this tutorial on creating landing pages.